just took another base instead.
And then all of a sudden, by the end of it, he had like 11 Immortals that didn't do well against 9 Tempest, Wolf, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, Arena is going to be our second map here, so definitely a high chance we'll be seeing Oracles and Phoenixes again on this one.
Would not be surprised. Probably going to see a lot of air on this map, a very short air rush distance. And Patience is going to have to win one here. He said in his interview that he'd drop 1 and then win 4 in a row, so let's see if he can make that happen. Or is Stats going to continue his reign here as the king of PvP? Let's jump into game number 2 now on Arena. Here we are on Arena, and down in the bottom left in the red, winning that last one from K2 Rolster, it is Stats. Not sure what that word means, but G2A, from now, something will happen.
Up to the top left in blue. It is Dead Pixel's Patience.
Yeah, and stuff already happened in this game, actually. We jumped into it a little bit late. It looked like Patience sent out an early probe to try to go for a gas steal, which Stats was very aware of and had his probe in position to take his gas early so that that didn't happen.
It is smart, though. We've seen on this map before, and it is very powerful if you can actually take it because the tech on this map is so important, going back to the early, or rather the fast or short distance by air. So because of that, the tech is massively more important, and you can actually find yourself really far behind. If you lose that gas, and it's hard to actually do an all-in on this map because everyone techs off one base, and it's hard to kill somebody like that. So it's just really important to make sure that you keep those gases. And Patience, obviously, his eco and even his cyber core is behind his result. His core just finished.
Yeah,
he lost one of his early probes, and it's not as important as it was in Heart of the Swarm. If you send one of your first 6 probes, it's a much bigger loss of income, but if you send one of 12, it's still a big deal.
He made his gateway late because he was saving some minerals to make the gas to steal it. So once he saw that the gas was unstealable, he had to make that later gateway, and definitely did not help him out there. Do have Stats out on the map with this probe. I think he's just going to try to go for a scout, possibly.
Yeah, because he's making the Stargate back at home. He's not going to hide a second Stargate on one base, is he?
Well, we've seen crazier things before.
Yeah, we have, but looks like he is just going to go for that scout. He's using the Mothership Core to ward the Stalkers away so he can actually fight his way in with the probe.
That's so smart, actually. The probe's going to come around the long way just to see what's going on, you know, and he's not going to see any tech. He's going to see a lot of gas has been mined, but only Stalkers so far.
Yeah, and you can see Stats here. Also being scouted by Patience's probe. I don't think he saw that. Not going to matter, though. Stalker's going to go check for it, and will actually be eliminated. Unfortunately for Patience, not going to get the same amount of information.
Yeah, Patience is going aggressive. He's made 4 Stalkers already, and he's making 2 sentries now, but he's going to move across the map with these 4 Stalkers and possibly trying to put on some pressure. Yeah, and behind it is going to expand.
It's going to be a problem if all of his units are out across the map, though, and an Oracle comes in, and I really worry about him here because there's already a pylon in position.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that, like, if you make a move like this, you're not going to be able to just, like, be like, well, he went an Oracle build, so I overpower him, I win the game. That's just not a thing. He's going to have to rely on his pylons at home to defend this Oracle harass, but he's going to lose a lot of control of the game if he doesn't find something here. But here comes that Oracle, and he needs to, like, be Johnny on the spot with those pylons. Don't want to lose any probes here.
Loses 1 there, looks like, but going to overcharge twice and push this Oracle out here. But the Oracle, with this kind of build, you know, we talk about this a lot. It's got a lot of utility. It's not all about the damage. Did just get a full scout of Patience's base, so knows exactly what's going on in terms of tech, how many probes, you know, every single thing that he could possibly want to know, he knows about now.
Yeah, so Just looking at this, a second Void Ray actually coming out here for Stats right now. It's like he realizes that it was initially an aggressive build for Patience, and he wants to be careful about that. I don't think he's going to make like 4 Void Rays and pull a Wolf and just like go across the map and attack. But I mean, he is moving across right now. He's not rallied the Void Ray, so it looks like it's just for Stalker defense right now.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a defensive maneuver. We saw that out of Patience last game as well. Just when you're scared you have a Stargate out, you might as well use it. Use the tech that you have made so far. If he makes like 5 Void Rays and tries to swoop into the main somehow, that would be really interesting. But we do see him stop making them after 2, probably just for defense here.
Yeah, he's controlling vision on the watchtower right now, and he did just tag and scout the entire army of Patience, which is smaller and has like sentries, for example. He can easily force a cancel on this third base if he sees it. Patience's observer does get scouted as well. He sees that. He's just going to go for the attack. Here's the Guardian Shield, and nice force. He's going to trap that Stalker, but he needs to pull that Void Ray back. Here comes the second one.
Really nice micro on that Void Ray, and more Stalkers making their way across the map. All the probes have been pulled, and they're trying to fight here, but he's lost 11 of them and continues to lose more here. So forces another overcharge. I'm not sure if there's enough energy here for another one. Let me check. Yes, there is. Just barely. Goes down to 5 energy now. So he is going to be able to defend this, I think, for now.
Oh, the Mothership Core gets sniped, though. But Stats is outnumbered here. He does drop a Time Warp. Here come the rest of those Stalkers.
Yeah, the Stalkers come across and the Time Warp doing its work. And now the overcharge is down. And don't forget about this Oracle. Could swoop in again for some more kills a little bit later on with that Mothership Core down now.
Yeah, could even actually try to just help out in the fight and just try to overpower these Stalkers. He's trying to kill this Pylon here. He's wasting a lot of DPS on that, though, and I think that's going to end up biting him here, losing a lot of these units. Another Time Warp comes down. He had that Warp in, but he was fighting too soon. But there's a Time Warp yet again, right when his Stalkers arrive. That overcharge doing so much for Patience right now, though.
Yeah, it's keeping him alive at least, but it is going to go down here relatively soon. There it goes. And Stats continuing to warp in 2 Stalkers at a time. Here they come across the map. And back at home, he's making another Oracle as well as the Nexus. So he's not going to 100% commit to this, but he's done a lot of damage already. You can see the worker counts now 42 to 24, and they've got similar army counts too. We do have the blink coming out here now for Patience, so I think Stats is like, uh-oh, I got to move home and not take damage here. I'm so far ahead.
Yeah, basically, I mean, Patience is trying to engage here with Blink, and it's a very powerful asset in these battles. It's not enough to actually get him a good trade.
I love how Stats brought him into that tiny choke and then fought.
And notice that Patience has 3 bases, but even still, he's 14 workers down because so many probes were lost earlier, and Stats made the right choice to just ignore that third base.
Look at this. We've seen it before. You force a bunch of overcharges, and then comes the later Oracle coming in and getting 6 more kills. Not sure if Stats should be fighting like this, but look at this. There's no more overcharge. It is still getting damage done.
Yeah. 8 kills. It's at 10 health and 15 energy here. So looking at the robo timing here for Stats as well, he should have enough, or he should have an Immortal or 2. Look at this, fighting with the Concave, always forcing Patience into this choke point. Patience actually, if he knew it was good for him, would probably have just blinked forward there. What is he doing? It's like the worst fight ever. Doesn't matter if he had 3 times as many Stalkers as Stats there. If he's fighting 2v4 basically every time or worse, he could hold off for almost infinity time. He is now doubling the worker count, by the way.
Finally, Patience gets rid of that pesky Oracle, but doubling the worker count, I think Patience is like, well, I got to put on some pressure while I get my economy up here, or else Stats is going to get way too far ahead.
He's using his Blink tech to try to win the game, but look at this. A huge warp in the Stalkers. The economy of Stats has kicked in full throttle. 50 workers to 32. He's got his own third base up. And he's basically just fighting with worse Stalkers, but he's going to have more of them.
This looks like it's the DeepMind Google program playing with these Stalkers right now. The way that Stats is microing those guys, it's pretty unbelievable. I would love to watch that fight again.
Yeah, so he's like, well, I know you have Blink, but it doesn't matter. The guy have more than
I'm
you,
going to outblink you without Blink.
He's like, my move backs of my Stalkers are better than your Blinks.
And they actually were. It's kind of weird to say, but...
looks like he sniped an Observer there, which is pretty nice. Yeah. Still 50 workers to 39. I believe the only thing that, well, it's happening, you guys can't see on screen, I checked on your computer. The only thing that Stats could do to really seal the deal in this game is to get his own Blink, and he is getting that now.
Yeah.
If he gets his own Blink, and he just has Immortal Blink Stalker versus less Stalkers and no Immortals, then we all know how that game ends. He's up 30 supply. Currently.
Also, another facet of StarCraft is win behind Dark Shrine, and that's exactly what Patience is going for here. He's going to try to catch Stats without detection, but Stats is already making a second observer here, as he actually did just lose an observer there, so he is remaking that observer just to play it safe.
Yeah. Yeah, Ormoros have barriers. They've got 2 of them. Okay, don't want to fight to that choke point. Uh-oh, Lonely Immortal.
Look at this. This is beautiful.
He's
Just
still
coming
almost
around
killed all
here.
the Stalkers, but it doesn't matter. The second Immortal over here is over there.
GG. That's it.
Oh, man, those last 2 fights were just like Stats like, yeah, so you didn't leave yet?
Yeah. Wolf, I hate to say it, but I think you may be right with this 4-0. Stats' PvP today looks just unrivaled. The way he played was so smart in game number 1, and just the movements of his army there in game number 2, and just the ideas that he was working with, like pulling the Blink Stalkers into the choke with your concave so you have a better fight, moving your bigger army around to essentially trap Patience and win the game there. I don't know, man. This guy just looks so good, so confident today, too.
Yeah, he really does, and you get to see it in some of his movements. I really liked how he used the Oracle in that last game. That was really what impressed me the most. And Patience, he took some terrible fights. Like, the understanding of Stalker micro that Stats had in that game, I mean, I'm sure Patience could probably, like, write a book about Stalker control, how many games he's played, and, like, could probably tell me I need to shut up or whatever. But when I watched that last fight, I'm like, you have Blink, you're in a choke point. You blink forward in that situation, you take the fight. But he was, like, not using the fact that he had Blink. He just wasn't controlling the fights as well as Stats was, and that was his only tool. He had the army lead, he was behind in economy, and he wasn't microing properly, so he just couldn't get anything.
With that being said, guys, we are going to jump into a 5-minute break. We'll be right back with game number 3.